We were meant to be together, didn't care what others said. We were meant to be forever. I've been dreaming about this moment. I can barely breathe. Feel like I've been drowning. Pulling me to the ground, tears streaming down my face. My chest hurts, I can't escape. There's no going back now. Will you miss me when I'm gone? Will you think of me when you're all alone? miss me when I'm gone? Will you think of me when you're all alone?
Stuff, but there was a cow looking like it was using tall wooden legs that appeared from time to time to say, like, yeah, I know you can do it. You have my trust. When I was little, I had a tree outside my bedroom window, and the moonlight spread its shadow across my ceiling. And sometimes when I woke up in my groggy state, it looked like spider webs. Probably. It's hard to tell. But that doesn't mean that you should stop dreaming. The feeling I get from this is waking up in the middle of the night from a nightmare that you thought was real but really isn't. These dreams are weird. You pick up your phone and no one is there. And for a while I was really scared of them. Like, it's definitely
When the downtown lights start to come out at night, we go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind. I go insane, I go insane. Cause they told me you take too much. Yeah, I sure do, so I can feel that now. If they only knew how this was, yeah, they would too, just to feel that now. Cause I ain't got no friends, I ain't got nobody. All I got ahead is a moonlit road. Nobody, all I got ahead is a moonlit road. When the downtown lights start to go out at night, we go insane, we go insane. And when I arrive, I start to lose my mind. I go insane, I go insane. They told me you, cause they told me you, they told me you, I can feel that now. Cause they told me you, cause they told me you, they told me you, I can feel that now. Cause I ain't got no friend, I ain't got nobody.
Wow, thanks. Jonathan, thanks for this. Yeah, it was nice for me to talk to the nobody. Yeah. So, hi everybody once again. Thanks for joining the stream. I'm sorry I forgot to unmute the microphone. As always, we will start the stream with what's new in 2021.7. The voice should be working now, I hope. Is it? Let me check. It should be working. Can you hear the voice? Okay. Thanks, Bob. So, first we'll start with what's new in 2021.7. Then I'll be talking about some things that I had to do or I had to improve in my Home Assistant or my setup in regard to the 3 heat waves we had here. And I did manage to mess up that, but that's a different story. Third, I'll be talking about the Nuki. Maybe some of you did see my last 2 videos, or not, last one was something else. 2 videos before that were about the Nuki door lock, smart lock, and the Nuki opener. And I'll be talking about my experience so far with them, the issues I'm having, which are unfortunately not related to the Nuki. When I say unfortunately, if it were for the Nuki, I probably could solve them, but this is, yeah, something else. And yeah, I have a couple of other topics. We will see where this will be going. So let's first start with what's new. This version was interesting. I like this new edition of the selects. I have it already in use for WLED lights. So what this allows, and this is really great thing, is that, for example, if you have external integration and it has some selects that it allows you to choose from. For example, for WLED, this can be either the effects or the colors. It can pre-populate the fields and you do not have to create helpers or input selects for that. So this is a really nice feature, and I hope that more and more integrations in the future will be having that. Yes, definitely. Definitely it rocks. Although I did find one issue with it in my setup, and let me quickly show you. So let me quickly select this one here. I just restarted my system. So if you see here, here I have a stream desk. This is just WLED behind this desk, and it's currently on 100% with the effect flow, and it works great. I can select everything. I can play with this glider or slider, so everything works perfectly except the LEDs are now blinking, but that's a different story. But if I would do this, edit dashboard, edit it, and I'm using for this custom card called light entity card, which is really great for the WLED, because it allows you to, even before there were selects, you were able to select the effects from the list, but you had to manually input the list. So if I would select here shorten card, which is what I prefer to have, smaller cards, they occupy much less space. Here you are unable to use the slider, because when you try to select it, as it is shrinked, it always selects the effect. So that's the issue. This has nothing to do with the Home Assistant selects. Unfortunately, this is something related to the card, but I will be definitely posting a bug report for this one. Nice one. Yeah, I will probably do that. I have 4 5 WLED active cards now, or active devices, and I will be definitely improving on that, because I'm not satisfied. For example, I will show later in my configuration, but for example, in kids' rooms, it's just I want kids to have a simple user interface, and there are just too many commands there for that. I want to have some pre-selects and things like that, but that's a different story. So as I was saying, I really love this feature, and it would be great, for example, to see media player. If your TV is hooked up to Home Assistant, for this select to have all the sources, so you can have live TV, Netflix, YouTube, I don't know, whatever sources you have. So it's really nice. It's really nice feature, and I really do believe that this is really pushing Home Assistant a bit closer to the general public. But that's just my opinion. Next ones, which I'm pretty dumb, because I usually track the beta version, release candidates, to see what's going on, what will be the new features, to think of stuff that I could probably do with that. And this was really one of the features I was looking for. Not this one, but this one. But yeah. So first of all, this one is great because you can now use trigger conditions and trigger IDs, meaning if you have automation that is triggered based on the state, you can now ID it. And in this case, for example, one of the states could be if the gate is open after it just open, you would be in a state normal. But if it's in that state for 10 minutes, the ID of that trigger would be forgotten. So then you can create additional automation that would be triggered by that trigger ID called forgotten to send a notification. So for example, in my case, I have front door sensor working similar to that. One is the normal state open, and the other one is notification that it's been left open for too long, and the third one is that it's been left open for too long and nobody's at home. So depending on the trigger, I could create one automation instead of 3 automations, and then I could also create external automations that would be triggered based on what type or what trigger was used in the first automation. So this is something great. You can do it also through the user interface. I mostly do 99% of my automations are done in the YAML editor, but sometimes I just simply forgot or I'm blocked, so I start doing the automation inside the UI and then copy the YAML code and work on the YAML code inside the editor itself. Script debugging, I have to be honest, unfortunately I still didn't manage to get the information I would like to get from the automation debugging. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. I hope that this will help me. I had a problem. I was missing triggers in the latest release, so some of my automations didn't work or worked partially because, for example, front door automation. So front door automation works like this. It is triggered by a condition, then you have a couple of actions. And for example, first action is send notification to my phone, then do something, and last 2 notifications were set the volume for media player, specific media player, and then push notification to that media player. And then there I was missing not triggers but targets. So it took me at least half an hour to figure that I'm missing targets for the media player set volume and play. Hopefully this will help me in future, and I still have to check all my automations and everything if I did enter the target values or target everywhere it should be in the automations. So why I'm dumb? Okay, no, I'm dumb because of a lot of reasons, but I was reading about this and I was really happy to have ability to now work with 2 sensors, comparing values inside automation as a trigger. And this is one of the reasons I also printed this. And this is the topic I would definitely be talking later on a bit more. So Yesterday I was making automation to notify me when to open the windows and also when to close the windows depending on the temperature. So it's comparing, as we have a street and a backyard access from the apartment, and sun goes from the street in the morning to the backyard in the evening. The temperature really is different between the two sensors I have there. So first of all, I wanted to have a notification, and usually everything is open during the night so the apartment can cool down. And I've seen that the point where the external temperature starts to rise is around 5 a.m. and around 7:30 in the morning the temperature outside matches the temperature inside. So at that point I wanted to have notification to tell me close the windows or doors or whatever on that side. That means that really I have to close everything, but since this is the back side of the apartment building, it's a forest there, it's always a little bit colder. We do not have to close the windows immediately, but this side I definitely have to pull down the blinds and close. But in the evening, since the sun sets on that side, I had to track the external temperature to know when I want to open the windows. And I was doing that yesterday, and no, I still didn't use this. I know about this, I read about it, and it's a really great way. And this example really is something that I was working on, and I still did a bit more complex way of doing it. If you're interested later on, I can show you. But this really simplifies everything. Here I had also conditions, which probably I would put even here, for this to not be triggered if the internal temperature is above or below some value, because it depends if this is a summer or winter. You don't want to have that notification probably in the winter. But it really simplifies and opens up a lot of more possibilities. Before, I've seen that people have created custom sensors that would be comparisons of the two sensors. So you would create additional sensor that would have value comparing two sensors, and then based on that newly created sensor you would do automations. This, as I said, really simplifies the process. Working with dates, yeah. As it says here, I always struggle with the with the date sensor and comparing values. So I usually try to find on the internet if somebody has managed to do something that I want to do, then take that piece of code and use it in my automations. Version tag for Docker containers, which is great because now, yeah, you can use this tag to pull the version that you want. Some of the other changes, Z-Wave JavaScript, I see a lot of, since I think it was released around the new year, a lot of effort has been put into this, but unfortunately I always mention that I do not have a single Z-Wave device. I'm Zigbee 100% here, or Wi-Fi. But there are a lot of changes in each release concerning the Z-Wave, and one thing that I noticed that it's not called Z-Wave JavaScript Beta anymore, or whatever it was called before, so maybe it means that this is now a full-fledged release. Google Assistant integration supports fan speed percentages and presets mode, which is really great and helpful. I hate my Google Assistant. Fan speed added to the one that shall not be named. Philips TV supports Ambilights. By the way, I don't know if anybody has seen, there have really been a lot of videos lately on DIY version of Ambilights, and I really like the videos. I will probably never do something like that. I will definitely never buy Philips Ambilight. But I don't think that I will be doing that. I know that there was non-Philips version where you can have this system working without the HDMI cable passing through, or media converter, whatever, for the Raspberry Pi to analyze the video, then to create light changes. There was an option to use camera that was pointing on the screen. I also believe that that's too complex and it can break. So yeah, I would just love to have simplified version, but I really have no clue how to do it. Mostly if we watch TV, we watch live TV. So I cannot pull. Yeah, Hyperion is definitely great. But as I said, I have no way of pulling the HDMI stream from my TV to pass through something and then get it back, because I'm not using any kind of set-top box. Everything is embedded inside TV, and I really do not know how I would connect it. I would pretty much need to duplicate live TV system somewhere just to create that. So that's no go, unfortunately, for me. But yeah, I will live without that, unfortunately. Yamaha Musiccast supports grouping services, climate cell integrations, new sensors added. WLED now supports local push. Updates are now instantly both ways. I don't know if anybody has seen, there has been a beta release of WLED. I don't think that there has been a newer release. I'm having issue with one of the boards. But I'm not using even Android TV for that, Bob. That's the problem. My live TV is DVB-T card inside TV itself with the encryption model or decryption model. The Netflix is Netflix app on the LG TV, and the other system I use is Smart Share from LG, and it's also embedded. So that's the problem. I don't know how I would be able to get that content out of the system for it to be processed on Raspberry Pi for Hyperion to work. That's the biggest issue. That's the biggest issue for me. I have Android TV stick, but I maybe use it once in 2 months or something like that. Okay, setting up Xiaomi devices has gotten way easier. Oh, yeah, I've seen this one, and this is really great. People, so if you look at the history of Home Assistant and Xiaomi integrations, so one of the reasons, not really reason, the other reason was I didn't talk it through with my wife, but one of the reasons I wasn't looking for the smart vacuums or vacuum robot cleaners was the process of retrieving tokens. And I know I can do it, I tried it, it's possible to do it, but it was really a big hassle. Then a couple of applications were built, starting from command line interface up to the user interface or Windows or Mac application that you install that retrieves the token. And now having this ability embedded inside Home Assistant is really great, because it will once again simplify the process for the users that do not want, or do not wish to do things like install additional application on their mobile phone or install something on the PC, blah, blah, blah. So this is really, really great that this was finally embedded in the Home Assistant. And I believe that more and more devices that now rely on some external activity to be integrated or to start integration process will eventually end up in Home Assistant, and this will definitely simplify for beginners or users that do not have that much of technical knowledge. A fine percentage-based speeds, presets modules, which is great because it also works then with the Google. Easy with integration, new sensors or services, power factor sensor, Tiber. Google Translate now supports Bulgarian language. Yeah, Google Translate text-speech is something that we use here, but although we speak in Croatian, all our messages coming from Google Translate are in English, because support for Croatian language sounds probably something like cyborg robot speaking in 1950s or 1960s movies. So it's really terrible, and you can barely understand what it's talking. And it's strange, if you look at the Google's list of supported languages, Croatian language was supported 100% in all the categories that it needs to be supported, but still the voice was so robotic that you couldn't use that. On the other hand, Nabucasa text-to-speech service is awesome. It has such a great speech or voice used for Croatian language, so I believe also for Bulgarian before implementing this. And I would definitely recommend it. I do have my Nabucasa subscription on, but I'm not using Nabucasa myself. I'm considering that more of a donation to the Nabucasa and Home Assistant project than for me something to be using. So yeah, I'm still stuck with the English language. I really hope that soon we will have Croatian language or whatever supported sooner, because I would really like to convert all those English-speaking messages at my home to be local language. Smart Tube, nope, I don't have. I cannot set reminders. KNX had quite a lot of updates. Okay. Support for presets for the ESP homes and climate control on ESP home. I really do love what changes have been brought into ESP home. Unfortunately, I still haven't been able to play with the new version. I have updated all my devices that are connected. Unfortunately, these are only two. All other devices currently are in the box because I simply do not have enough sockets to power everything, and most of them are not needed. For example, I think that VOC, volatile organic compound sensor, is not connected, lightning detector is not connected, 3, 4, 5, the only things that are connected is 100% of the time my Geiger-Miller counter is connected, which is also used as a BLE device, and it talks with my Xiaomi Mosquito devices, not mosquito devices, mosquito repellent devices. So it checks the status of the battery and status of the tablet when or whatever it's called, that sponge inside that has to be replaced. And it also connects to my Xiaomi Mi, how it's called? Xiaomi Mi body scale 2 or whatever, that measures from weight to the composition, blah, blah, blah. So that one is also using this Bluetooth BLE inside inside the Geiger-Miller counter to talk with the Home Assistant. So I did upgrade everything, and Tag Reader, which is the second device, but I still haven't had time to play. One of the projects that I really would like to try to work on is to try and implement ESP Home on the high-grow boards, just to see if it's possible, especially since the newer versions of the high-grow boards have BME sensor, which is natively supported. Also DHT 11 and 12 are natively supported in ESP Home. So I believe that this could be done. I really want to see if it's possible to get everything from that sensor by using ESP Home, and then to have over-the-air updates for the sensor, to have a long battery life, because you need to put the device in sleep mode. So this is something that I wanted to play but just didn't have time. Okay. Nuki service for the enable disable continuous mode. I think that this is related to the Nuki opener, because I've seen a lot of issues on the GitHub repository that Nuki opener was constantly in open mode, meaning that anybody who rings the opener would automatically open them door. So I believe this is that. I didn't check. I will be checking later on this, but also I'm using the community integration for Nuki, which I'll mention a bit later, for this integration, and it's working great. I really do wish that internal Home Assistant integration will implement stuff that has been waiting on the GitHub for over 6 months now, and to use push instead of pull. The difference is really big. In the pull, Home Assistant is periodically pulling data from the sensor or from the bridge and the lock and opener. If it would be using push, then every state change of either lock, bridge, or opener will be automatically visible in Home Assistant. So difference is if you will know when the door is open or locked or unlocked now or in 5 to 10 seconds. And I believe that this is really important, especially if you implement opener and want to track ringer. You don't want to wait 10 seconds in front of the building so that Home Assistant registers that there was a ring. So this can only be achieved with the push notifications. But we'll talk about it later. New integrations: MB Forecast Solar, Freedom Pro, Modern Forms, and Select. Select is that new feature. New platforms: Evi Fritz Box, Bosch SHC, groups. Now support creating media player groups, which... Oh no, yeah, I have already media player groups, but they were created on the Google Home app, not inside Home Assistant. Okay, so I will try this one. Although I really am using rarely that, but on the other hand, for pushing notifications, reminders and things like that, maybe this would be better choice. Hyperion can now provide a camera feed with live image. KNX added support for number and new select entities. Meta Climatic now provides sensors with weather information. MQTT got support for new select entities. Rituals Perform Genie added number and select intensity to adjust diffuser. I was really looking to get one of them, and yeah, no, I will not be getting. It's really nice gimmick, but nope, I will not be getting. SIA Alarm System now provides various binary sensors. Sony Bravia offers remote entity. Switcher now provides sensors, and WLED now exposes color palettes and presets using selects. Integrations now available through the UI, Coinbase, DSMR, Slime Meter, Yamaha Musicast. And this has been fixed or improved or whatever in the version 2021.7.1. So this is all the stuff that is new in the Home Assistant. As I said, I really am happy about this new entity select, trigger conditions, and comparing entities and using that for triggers and conditions. Well, okay, let's see what's else here. So as I mentioned, we had three. This was part of the stream that I didn't unmute my mic, so didn't hear it. So we had already three heat waves. The last one was not that long and intensive, but it did reach night temperatures over 20 and daily maximums over 35 degrees. It lasted for a couple of days. It just ended a day or two ago. So one thing I noticed that during years I've added a lot of sensors in my home. Just a second, I'll switch to my setup. Okay. So these are the temperature sensors. So I have Tado for heating, which is now off because it's summer, and I can track the temperature in the kids' bedrooms, dining room, and living room. Also, I installed a couple of years ago Xiaomi round temperature and humidity sensor, which tracks the bathroom temperature and humidity, and then I use this humidity data to trigger the bathroom vent. If it's above some threshold, it starts, it then runs for 5 minutes, then waits, then starts again. So yeah, it's working okay. Bedroom is the Shelly humidity and temperature sensor, which I also did video a couple of weeks ago, and I'm really not happy with that one. Let's just compare. So for example, this is the Xiaomi one, and you can see that it has in the last 24 hours a lot of changes. So every how much, but it does change periodically. I think that it's triggered by the amount of change and also some interval. If it doesn't report something in, let's say, 30 minutes, then it would update the values. So this is my bathroom sensor, and you can see here peaks, which are not that important for heat, although you can see that there is a big difference here in heat. But this is important for the humidity in the bathroom. If it would not update on time, I wouldn't be able to detect if the humidity is rising due to somebody, for example, taking shower, and then I would not be able to trigger the bathroom vent. So this is Xiaomi one, and let's look at the Shelly one. Yeah, granularity sucks. So last update was 2 hours ago. We had one update 11:23 a.m. and before that at 5. So 6 hours without any updates. So why would I use this sensor? If I would definitely not be using this sensor for any critical installation. Critical meaning that you have to have up-to-date information, but for any automations, I would definitely not be using this Shelly humidity and temperature sensor. It is good, you know, if you want to just glance at something and see, it's roughly around that. But as you see, the updates are 6 hours apart, if my math is okay. This one is at 5 a.m. and then before, so 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours. Yeah, you do not want to have that sensor triggering any kind of automation. It would be like having a front door sensor that would report state every 4 hours. You can have army marching in and out of the apartment in that period and you would not register it. So I'm really not pleased with that one, but the problem was not there. That's something that popped up while I was working on the problem. The problem was really that I didn't have outside temperature. My outside temperature was relying on the weather data, which is collected somewhere. And when I say somewhere, it means if you look at the position, if you look at the data that is given for the city, some of the cities or some of the weathers are reported, for example, for the airport, other for the center of the city. The other one was reported for the park near the city. So there are big differences in real temperature that is around my apartment. I don't care what's going on 5 miles from here. I really wanted to know what's going on around my apartment. And then I figured I don't have a single sensor outside of my apartment. I do have cameras, but you cannot detect temperature, at least not with the cameras I have. So I ordered 2 Xiaomi sensors, and as you can see, I'm now this is my custom weather card, which is using pressure, this one, and the temperature, these two, and I think that, yeah, temperature, humidity and pressure are pulled from the Xiaomi sensor, and I have 2 sensors. One sensor is on the street side and the other one is on the backyard, or in the backyard. And I use those sensors now to trigger automations. The next problem I detected is that at least at some point in day, and currently for the backyard sensor this is now, the sensor itself is in the direct sunlight, which of course gives wrong data. So it's not 35 degrees, it's probably 35 in the sun currently, but temperature should be around 30. Maybe it's 29, maybe it's 30 or 31, but it's definitely not 35 degrees. So, you know, doing one project triggers doing the other project. I've added those I added those sensors outside. As you can see on the front or the street side, it's currently 28.28. On the balcony, it's 35 because it's in direct sunlight. I have both pressures from both sensors. I didn't check any data. I didn't compare it with the traditional hydrometer or whatever it's called for the pressure. And this is the temperature this is humidity, which of course directly correlates with the temperature outside. So what I did, I went on let me like this. I went on Thingiverse, searched for Xiaomi sensor. And there are a couple of options. So I printed this box here, which hasn't been installed. And I was thinking of using this one on the backyard side. But I printed and installed this one in the front. And most probably I will reprint or make another one and use that one inside on the backside too. So what's great about it, it is a remix or mix of a couple of projects, and one of those is this one, which is very simple wall fastener for the temperature or sensor clip. And with this one you get Stevenson screen, so the air can flow normally. It is protected from direct sunlight and it is also protected from the rain. And currently I've installed this one on the street side, and I will most probably print it instead of this one, because I think that this one simply doesn't provide enough air to travel around the sensor. It has holes here, 3 on each side. The sensor is pushed inside like this, then glided into this holder. I'll be sneezing. But I simply do not think that there is enough air circulating here, and by using this one it will definitely be much better. And from the data today, if we go here, I haven't seen any peak even when the sun was directly pointing or shining on the sensor. I didn't see any peak values. For example, yesterday before I installed it, I had 44 degrees measured by that device, which was in the sunlight at that point. So it looks like it is working as it should. Okay. So this was the project I was talking. So I had ordered 2 sensors. I will be ordering probably additional 2 sensors for that. One will be positioned here where I record, and behind me, behind the green screen, is the piano. This is the upper floor of the apartment, and it really becomes very hot, and I have no clue how hot it is here, because this is not a room, this is open space, how this space is positioned, you don't have any kind of a heating in the winter. So if there is no heating in the winter, I do not have smart valve. If I do not have smart valve, I have no idea what the temperature is, because all those temperatures here are pulled from the smart valves. And as I said, the other temperatures are pulled from the Xiaomi sensors and that one Shelly sensor, which is, it's working great. There is a way to update data, but I think I never tried. So, okay, maybe that's my mistake. There is an option for that sensor to use USB power for powering it. And maybe if it is connected directly to the power source, providing constant power, it does update data more frequently, which I really would like to believe so. And if it does like that, it would be great. But on the other hand, I love it because it's also mobile. The great thing about it, it's a Wi-Fi module, but as I've shown, having 4 or 5 hours between the updates, it's just not worth it. Okay, so next thing I wanted to talk about is Nuki. Let's go here. Okay, so this is this one here and this one here are the smart lock and Nuki opener, and I did install them. It was 3-4 weeks ago. I think 4 weeks for the lock and 3 weeks for the opener. They are working great, and what I figured out is I don't need it. No, what I figured out is that, as I was expecting, we are rarely using the lock itself. For example, in the summertime, we keep everything open, even the front door, and this means that I cannot use functionality, for example, auto lock the door, scheduled locking of the door, things like that. So I'm using it once a day in the night or around midnight, sometimes to lock the door, and in the morning around 7 o'clock to unlock the door. And since kids sometimes play in front of the apartment on the balcony, we keep the door not just unlocked but open. The device that we are using a lot, and I've seen most family members use it daily, is the opener. And I have to say that it's even better than the lock itself. You know, for example, I'm recording something here. My family goes out, and they usually ring the bell the doorbell in front of the building for me to open the building door. So this would require me to stop whatever I was doing here, walk down the stairs, go to the front door of the apartment, pick up the headset, ask who's there, press the button and let them in. Now just the ability of me working here and just going to the app, pressing the button and buzzing them in the building is really worth every investment that is connected to that. Also, as I said, kids use it. They love it. When I'm walking, when I parked my car in front of the building and I try to go inside, I don't use keys anymore. In the last 5 steps before I reach the door, I just press the button on the app. By the time I get to the handle, it automatically opens the door. So that part has been used and is used constantly, and that really is something that I would definitely recommend, as I did recommend in the video. And once again, this is not sponsored. I bought it from my cash, and I really do think that was great investment. But the problem really is hi Johnny. Oh, okay, sorry, let me start. So the problem I'm having with the Nuki opener is how my apartment building how it evolved during the time. So this building is now 50 years, no, 60, 70 years old. I don't know when it's made. And I don't know what was the first system of intercom in the building, but I know that unfortunately, due to this evolving of this intercom and doors inside the building, I'm stuck with it and I cannot use some of the functionality. For example, one great feature of the Nuki opener is the ability ring to open. Ring to open means that if you are expecting someone, or if you are arriving, or if you knew that you will be arriving at your building door, you can activate it, and when you press the ringer, it would not ring, it would suppress the buzzer inside the apartment, and instead it would let you in the building, which is really great functionality. But my intercom has voice and door lock on one set of wires, and the building is using only 2 wires for that, which I've shown in that video. And the bell for the building door is separate system, powered by whatever voltage there is. So I've measured from 100 to 160 volts AC. The maximum voltage Nuki door opener can work with is 50 volts. So until my building upgrades the system, and there have been some talks about putting the newer system with the camera, until that's done, unfortunately I cannot connect that ringer part of the system with the Nuki door opener. The Nuki support was really great. Out of box, my system should be supported, but it's not supported, maybe you've seen in the video, because not all wires are connected and not all wires exist. So I had to use 2-wire system. I contacted support and they were really awesome on showing me how to connect even external ringer or external bell or buzzer. I already prepared all the cabling. I had to connect 3 additional wires inside from Nuki opener inside intercom to the bell. I pulled all the wires, and when I was checking for the polarity, because I needed to connect 1 wire to the ground, same as the bell, and then 2 wires to be bypass for the bell. So voltage would come to the Nuki, and then if I would select quiet mode, it wouldn't ring the bell. Yeah, I couldn't do that because it was just above the voltage system supports. Yeah, I'm really sad about it. I really want to say that the support was excellent. One thing that happened to the Nuki lock, which is strange, when I set everything up, everything was working perfectly. Everything, meaning that the detection, opening, closing the door, integration, everything was working as it should. And I installed also the how they call it, smart door sensor beta version, which is really a small square magnet, centimeter by centimeter in size. You glue that on the door and it detects if the door is open or not. So everything was working perfectly. Then I started to play, which I always do, and yeah, when I start to play with things, they break. So I started to play with the magnet, with the calibration process, and it broke. It stopped working. I couldn't connect it no matter what I did. I tried recalibrating, I contacted support. They really were helpful, telling me do this, do that, exchange batteries, give me photo of what's going on, record how you are calibrating, blah blah. Nothing worked, and they just simply shipped me a new lock. And new lock arrived. They said that I just have to return the lock itself. I can keep everything that was coming along with the original lock. So I returned the old lock, new lock arrived. New lock arrived, I returned the old lock. So I had new lock here before I had to return the old lock. I installed it, calibrated, and it's now working perfectly. Why I'm saying this, because I never at one point. Hi Mario. Pozdrav. And thanks for renewing your Omega supporter subscription. So as I was saying, at no point during my conversation with Nuki was I feeling that the product itself was broken or something was not working. I was focused more on what I did wrong with calibration process, because it can be tricky or picky how you do it. So I never at any time of conversation mentioned that I won't exchange anything. It was really great that after 2 days of troubleshooting, I was doing all the steps. They just said, we've sent you a new one. Nothing else. Would you like replacement? No, they didn't ask anything. They just sent replacement and said, okay, we've sent you replacement. Please, when this one arrives, just put in the same box your old lock. You can keep all the accessories and return the old box. It's prepaid for the UPS, FedEx, or whatever. So I really can't remember when I had such good customer experience with them. So just my 5 cents on this topic. So yeah, I don't know if it'll be, yeah. One thing I do have to fix here, the bridge, this is why it's been unavailable. The bridge currently is in such position that unfortunately we do disconnect it every couple of days for a certain amount of time, because this lock is also used for some other things. So that's why bridge becomes unavailable. This is something... Thank you, Mario. Hvala ti puno. So this is something that I definitely have to work on, but it has nothing to do with the system itself. And yeah, I've been talking a lot. I really wasn't planning on buying lock itself. On the other hand, I'm very happy that I have bought the lock, because this lock forced me or made me buy the opener, and I think that opener is much unappreciated product than the lock itself. Everybody's talking about the smart locks. I have been looking for both things. I have been looking for the smart lock and I have been looking for the openers. I even have prepared everything for the DIY Zigbee project for the door opener. Just a second. Yeah, just a second. I'll be back. So I mentioned this a couple of times previously. I'm really fond of the modcom.ru website and their Zigbee projects they are doing, DIY Zigbee project. So I don't know if I've shown this previously on stream or not. I've ordered these. These are the, it's called Zintercom, like Zigbee Intercom. And this is DIY Zigbee project. So there are only a couple of, sorry, I'm too close to mic. There are only a couple of components here, and I'm waiting for the 95% of all of those components to arrive. I think I have either 10 or 20 of these boards. I know I will probably be making one or two, keeping them as a momentum for the project, and I will probably give away all of them. I don't know how many Zigbee modules I still have. Will I have all the Zigbee modules for all the cars? But these are DIY version of the Nuki door opener. It also has the ability for how it's called, ring to open. It has ability to suppress the, sorry. It has ability to suppress the ringer, and there are two versions. One is powered by the battery and the other one is powered by the external power source. If I do it, I will probably do it powered by external power source, because with internal battery you lose some of the functionality, and yeah, so this is something that I will be working. So this is DIY version of the Nuki opener. But as I was saying, this is something as a concept I was looking for a long time. And when we moved to this apartment, we did redecorate everything, remodel, new electricity, new water, new gas pipes, whatever. Everything was changed in the apartment. Windows, except the front door. So it was about time. We are now here in the apartment for 5 or 6 years. and the front door was really eyesore. So this summer when it started, we said, okay, finally we are replacing the door, and this was something that triggered this process. When I replaced the door because of the new door and new door size. Thank you, Rene. Thank you very much. Nice seeing you here. So as I was saying, we replaced the door. Automatically, the lock itself was replaced, and with the door, I wasn't even thinking about that. We received the normal cylinder for the keys, and that one can be picked by anybody anytime. So yeah, I had to replace the lock. When I was looking at the lock, then I said, well, when I'm already replacing the door and the lock itself, why don't I try and implement the Nuki lock? Then I bought the lock for the cylinder for the lock that would work with the Nuki smart lock, because not all locks are compatible. They can work, but with some you would lose the ability to unlock the door if, for example, battery dies on the inside. So that was something that I was really thinking of on, what will happen if I lose the power, what will happen if I lose the connection to the lock itself. So I was really looking at all of those, and that's when I ended up on Nuki, on type of the lock I have, to have everything working. And yeah, as I said, I'm not using that system that much, but opener is great. Oh, nice, Johnny. Nice, Johnny. Yeah, I don't have it here. I didn't prepare it for this time. I definitely wasn't when I started this channel. Definitely, I was hoping to work on Arduino projects with the Dupont wires and everything. I didn't think that I would go in building, for example, a Diguno board. So Diguno wasn't purchased. I bought the components, bought the PCBs, and soldered them myself. And this was first time I was soldering something in a long time. But I did manage to make 15 boards, and I did manage to make them all work, which is also great. So yeah, so when I've seen a couple of other projects, I started soldering once again. And Johnny, because I asked that question, and thanks for the help and choice. Although I did go for the smaller hot air gun, for those projects here, my eyesight is just, I'm getting old. Who am I kidding? I'm not a teenager anymore. I'm already around 30. Okay, so yeah, so my eyesight is really becoming very bad, and I do have glasses. I do have a magnifying lens for soldering, but it's still getting really bad. And soldering Zigbee module to the other board, not this one, the Geiger-Miller counter. This was the watering project. I showed it on the Discord server, and I showed it on the Twitter, I think. So this project here, modcam.ru, I will use translate English. You don't want to hear me reading Russian, but I can do that if you want. So this project, I really was hoping to have this project done before I go on a vacation, because I have a couple of plants that are out of reach, and I wanted to be able to water them automatically or remotely, whatever. It can be automatically, but it can be also based on the trigger of the sensor that I trigger them from vacation. Yeah, so I did solder everything, and these connectors here, I simply couldn't solder them precisely with the soldering iron. So I went and, based on a couple of recommendations, and bought this. I ordered it from Spain. Cannot deliver to the United States. Yeah, right, I'm not in the United States, but never mind. So I ordered it. I tested it in terms of is it working. You buy things and you read halfway through. For example, I didn't even check if it would be automatically turning on or off when you put it in a dock. I know that this functionality exists, but I simply forgot to read about it. But yeah, it has that one option too. So I ordered, I think, this one with the spare heater, and I only have 3 weeks until I go on my vacation, but most probably I will not manage to do anything by then. And I also want to practice on some old boards I have to see if I can desolder components with that and also resolder. First thing, I would need to desolder the Zigbee module I was soldering, because I've noticed that it was connected in a bit under the module itself. The tin went under the module and it looped through 2 or 3 connectors. So I would have to, first remove that, then resolder it or solder it once again on the board. So yeah, that's why I bought this one, and hopefully this will also make it easier for me to solder those components, although there are not solder bridges. Yeah, although there are not that many components that are small here, but still, yeah, it's, for my eyesight, it's really becoming very, very hard to solder things up. So one of the videos after, unfortunately, the summer, probably when the winter starts, will be this one. I really wanted to have this project out and video out before I go on vacation, but there is no way I can do it in the next 3 weeks, because yeah, this is something that I also mentioned, I think, in the part of the stream where the mic was muted. So Johnny, you didn't miss much because my mic was muted. I will be going on vacation around 31st of July, and I will be on vacation for 3 weeks. So as I do not want to have break in terms of video releases, I have to pre-record 3 videos for 3 Wednesdays when I usually release the video, because I will be coming back from vacation on Wednesday, and there is no way for me to drive back home, arrive, record, edit and release the video in 20 minutes. So I have to pre-record 3 videos, and that's why I will probably not be doing anything fancy, anything complex. Yeah, it's schedule. As always, schedule. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So back to the Nuki card. I mentioned in my video this project here, and since I released the video, and video was only released a couple of weeks ago, but since then a lot has happened. Now there is a version 6 called Super Easy Installation, and it's really super easy. So one of the problems is that if you try to use packages before, they wouldn't work, because triggers were not supported in the packages, and it was using packages for installation. And at this point, what you need to do to install it, you have to go to Home Assistant and create long-term token, which is done like this for anybody who doesn't know. You go to your name, scroll down and create token here, and this will create long live access token, and this long live access token would be then used for webhooks. Next, you have to, in secrets YAML file, add 4 items. This is the IP address or host name of your bridge, port, you can leave default if you didn't change that. Third thing you have to go get from the bridge, this is done from the app, is the bridge token. And the last thing you have to add here is the webhook, which is really a long live access token. So these are the only 4 things you have to do yourself or change from the configuration. This is how it's done. Then you have to use terminal, and for that I use terminal inside Home Assistant. So I would, where is here? I will go here in terminal, and here just type the command. And it's easy, it's really calling this URL, your bridge URL, on the IP address that is, on the port that is standard, with token, your Nuki token. And you will be registering your Home Assistant IP address with the Home Assistant API port. This is the URL. And after webhook, you just paste your long-lived token. And that's it. This would create a webhook so that when there is a change in the state of any sensor, either in the bridge, door opener, or door lock, it would automatically call this webhook. And for this to work, you would just add following, just copy it here, all of this here, into the packages folder, create a card, create a YAML file with this, and that's it. Restart Home Assistant. It would then use a couple of things. First, it has some REST commands, and it periodically tries to check the data for some of the states that are not updated with webhooks. So for example, when you open the door, the webhook is called and it says that it is now opened or unlocked or whatever, and it reports that state and one or two more states. But for example, the firmware version, the battery level, and things like that are not updated with this call to the webhook. So it's using both webhook, and also it's pulling other data which doesn't change often to show that as a sensor, as a state in the Home Assistant. So it's pretty easy. You can edit in a couple of seconds. I myself am not using packages, so I've created for each of those I created the automation, binary sensor, and then all those input fields, created new lock, created REST command, and two REST sensors. Those are the sensors. So each of these sensors or input text fields or REST commands for me is in a separate file. It's all available on the GitHub. Oh, wait, I have something. GitHub. Nope. GitHub. Nope, it's not working. Why it's not working? Let's do live debugging of the how it's called? Stream Deck. This one. It should work. Yeah, it doesn't work. Let me paste it like here. GitHub. Nope, it's not working. I apologize. Stream Deck is great when it works. Yay! So I've tried to keep. I am really keeping update my GitHub repository for the configuration very updated. All the changes are pushed every couple of days. I don't push every single change at once. I usually wait either until I have something working as it should with all the fixes, or where there is something major, new, or whatever. So everything is there. I've created for the Nuki integration issue itself, so you can track all the stuff that has been related to that integration there. So yeah. And while we are there, let me also copy this one here. I hate it. Why it's not working? When I press the button, it just says failed. this is the probably because of the update to the, yeah, I just updated a couple of things before the stream. Everything of all the stuff that I upgraded works, which is really great, and that doesn't happen usually I break something. Nothing new. Okay, so that's it in regard to the Nuki. In regard to future videos, I really do not have idea. I know I have a couple of ideas. I have a long list. Yeah, I have very long list. Let me show you. One of the things that I wanted to record about is a Kraken integration for the Kraken. Raise the Kraken. Sorry, Kraken integration for the Home Assistant, because I myself am using Kraken, or was using, or saying I'm using Kraken feels like every day I'm investing and buying and selling cryptocurrency. No, I have account to Kraken, and I had a couple of transactions there, but this is really the only cryptocurrency broker or whatever they are I've been using, and I really was glad to see that integration has been added to the Home Assistant. But I find that it doesn't work. It doesn't work as it should. For example, I want to monitor Ethereum, so US dollar to Ethereum, euro to Ethereum, and I wanted to track the Storj token because I have some Storj tokens. This is the only thing that I have. And it simply doesn't work. It, for example, didn't want to create two sensors. You have ability in the drop-down list to create two sensors or multiple. There are multiple. You can do multi-select, but simply it didn't work. So this was one of the videos that I will not be recording. And I have to be honest, in the almost 2 years since I've been recording Home Assistant videos, there have only been 4 or 5 things that I wanted to record, and I never ever managed to record it because the integration wouldn't work. It has some issues, bugs, and I didn't want to, there is always a way to finish recording a video, but I didn't want others to have issues that I have during the process, so I ended up not recording them. And funny thing is that most of those integrations are not available anymore inside Home Assistant. Let me try and pull the list. Pull the list of all the videos that are on my to-do list. Nope. Oh, great. File open. Just a second. Just a second. Is this it? Okay. Let me switch this one. Okay. You probably cannot see anything here because it's just so small. Let me zoom in. So this is where I don't keep this updated. I do update it every couple of weeks or months, so that's not updated completely. But here are the videos I recorded so far, and these are the things that I want to record about. I think that nothing here has been recorded. These are the things that I want to record, but require some purchase of hardware. So I would first need to order something, and these ones simply do not work. Yeah. My white mouse wheel unfortunately doesn't want to zoom. Control Shift, Control Shift. Oh, nope. Nope. Okay. Nope. Whatever I do, it doesn't want to zoom. Doesn't matter. So I've created on the Discord server. No, it doesn't want. Yeah, right. But it has to be the right alt, not the left one. Thanks, Rene. So I've also created on the Discord server a channel called suggestions, and you can use, I think, comma suggest and then type what you would like to see recorded. Some of things here are simple. For example, world clock is world clock. Times of the day is great because you have the ability to give name to time of the day. So morning, evening, noon, things like that. Bayesian I will probably not ever do. Flux is also as this one. I'm not sure that I will be doing that. Filter is great because it can enable you to clean out the numerical data. Appraise, I'm not sure. GTFS is something that I started to record a couple of times and I never ever managed to make it work for myself. So GTFS is global transport something which, well, it's a standard that Google uses itself to show you the next public transport arrival, station name, schedule, things like that. And when I was playing with it, our local company here, it's called Zagreb Electric Tram, which runs all the buses, trams, everything, all the public transport around the city and in the city. They publish this GTFS file. So I really think that I spent in total more than 20 work hours on this integration. And it didn't work. Whatever I did, I downloaded applications from the Google website to manipulate data, to see if there is anything wrong with the data. It simply didn't work. Then I took one of the sample files from the San Francisco public transport company, whatever it's called. I used that data and it worked. So most probably the data here that is published by a local public transport company has some error. I couldn't figure out what error is. If I would figure out, I would write to them and ask them to rectify that. But yeah, it didn't work. And the problem I was having with the recording of the GTFS video, which is really great because it really allows you to have real-time transportation data inside Home Assistant, depending if it can be either passive, meaning that this data is published for the month in advance or 3 months in advance or quarter in advance or something like that, or it can have, but this component I think in Home Assistant still doesn't support that, ability to pull the real-time updates to the schedule. So for example, if there is some accident on the road and bus line or tram line is not going in that direction, that could by the standard be that could pull that and update the information about the line and inform you that, for example, either it's not going right now or there is a delay and the trip will take longer. So this is really great thing, and this is one of the components that would make smart home smarter. But as I said, the integration itself in the Home Assistant is working, but I couldn't make it work with the local data here. I will write about it on the Discord for starters. I think that I have a code for that available on the Git code, which is really integration code needed for this to work, and integration itself is really straightforward. The fun part comes when you try to use that data to create automations. For example, if you have to be somewhere at 8 o'clock, you can make automation that would warn you what are the next 1 or 2 buses or trams or subways or whatever you have where you live that you need to hop on to reach that destination by that time. So it's really great. I will post a link. It's publicly available. I will post the link. So I'm talking too much about online stuff. So folder watcher is great thing, but I haven't found real use for that. Which reminded me, I don't know if anybody has seen what Pedro has posted on the Discord server. I posted it on the Twitter too. He created a web page. So I recorded video about service monitoring, and I do use it to monitor, depending if it's my recording setup or my primary setup. I do track a couple of services, but he upgraded that to be able to track the changes on the web page, which is also great. With that you can track the changes to the GitHub, but then you have also the GitHub integration. So yeah, so he's using, as in his showcase, he's using that to track changes to the Zigbee to MQTT supported devices list. So anytime there is a new device added to the list, you get notification that there is a change to this list, which is really great. Feed reader, I don't know. Etherscan, as I said, I don't know what to say. I'm jumping all over. I have been using Etherscan as integration in my setup for more than a year. I think more than 2 years now. And I really wanted to record video about it, but it doesn't work. I'm unable to make it work as it should work. I think, and this is my belief, that there is an issue between what metric system it is expecting, seeing, and publishing data with. So let me quickly change here. Okay. So this is my balance for the storage, but as you can see, it's 0 dot whatever. I don't know how it's reading data. Is it using web scraping? Maybe it doesn't know how to interpret the punctuation, or is it are the decimal places divided by with the comma or with the dot? So because of something, and I was looking at the code there. I was looking at code at the Etherscan at the website, what they publish, and I couldn't figure out why it's always showing wrong state. There is a way for me, which I do not want to go, is to overcomplicate and create new sensor that would take this data here and then transform it to the real data, which really is unnecessary. It should work in the first place and provide data as is, not this. So that's one of the reasons I didn't so far record video about that. Let me change back to this list. Android IP webcam, which is nice and fancy feature, but with all those webcams, the prices of them going down, I just do not think that's interesting. This one maybe uptime robot, okay. So these are all the things that I have on my to-do list. Besides them, I do have a couple of videos I want to record, and I'm really been putting that off for a long time, and it's really on my priority list now. So it's a new video about InfluxDB. I'll be doing a new video on MariaDB. So those are the two new things that I will be definitely doing. Oh yeah, wow, we are already at 7:25, and I forgot to talk about one topic, which reminded me now. Then I was looking at those things here, and I almost bought a couple of things from Withings. The site is great, the components look great, the integration looks great, everything looks great. Then I go to reviews, out of their website, for example on Amazon or somewhere else, and people are not that happy. So I'm not really looking to spend 200-300 whatever dollars, euros on something that at the end would not work as advertised. For example, they have contactless forehead temperature sensor or thermometer, which was something that I was looking to get anyway, and to pay, I don't know what the price is, 100 euros. It can be 80 for that, but to pay 100 euros and have thermometer that would oscillate 1 to 2 degrees is something that I already have, and it's bought from China, and it shows at least once in a lifetime you will have exact temperature according to the thermometer. So, you know, simply it's not worth it. Wireless sensor tags. So these are. Oh, so the even integration doesn't work, which is great. So those are the couple of things that I really was looking forward to purchase or get to try to see how it's works. For example, Enigma Open WebIF. I do have some old DVR, DVB-T-S set-top box, but yeah, I never recorded. And one big major thing I did forget, and I wanted to talk about it much sooner, is not this one, not this one, but this one. So this, I wanted to talk about this. This is the new Synology DSM 7.0. I'm not sure. I've recorded the last video. The last video I did was on the issues people could have and will have if they upgrade to DSM 7.0. And I did try to combine everything in a video as short as possible, but as you can see I can talk a lot and not say anything, so it was really hard to combine everything, to give some kind of workaround to people, to try to point them in direction where they can go to solve issues. But I really would like to do more videos on both DSM 7.0 itself, not directly connected to the Home Assistant, but also some things that maybe DSM 7.0 will improve, both in terms of the Home Assistant integration. Johnny, I was looking at two things from them. One was the first thing and the second thing. First thing was the temperature, that's a thermometer for the forehead, and the second one was the sleeping sensor or sleeping whatever. So those were the two things I was looking at, and both of them didn't give me confidence after reading some of the reviews. I know that people usually read bad reviews because usually people write about bad stuff. They don't write about good stuff. So the average is probably for one bad user, for one bad experience, there is 20 good experiences. But somehow I thought that I was misled by the advertising on the web page, so that's why I ended up with not purchasing anything. 218 Plus working with DSM 7.0, nice. I still haven't upgraded my main setup, and I will not be upgrading my main setup, but that has nothing to do with the Home Assistant itself. It's more related to the other stuff I'm working. And the video I recorded about the Synology 7.0 was much longer, but I cut half of the Marvel movie out of it. One thing that I must once again thank Synology, because We had barter. I recorded 2 videos for them in Croatian languages, which are available on the official Synology website. And they've sent me the DS920, which is awesome machine, really awesome machine. I did put a bit more RAM inside, a bit more, so it now has 20 gigs of RAM, which helps with everything I've put in that machine. So I converted my old machine to the recording setup, and when I've seen that a lot of people had a lot of questions, I said to myself, okay, on that machine, this is really clean machine. It has 10 terabytes of storage with 21 gigs used, so it's really empty. I pulled the Home Assistant snapshot and I said, okay, whatever, if upgrade fails, if I will not be able to record videos, I will simply kill the machine, restore it to 6.2, and then, you know, pull the latest available snapshot and recover Home Assistant. So that's why I upgraded this machine. And I wasn't planning on doing that. It was on Friday after the work. I was reading some community forum posts and things on the online, and that's when I see that a lot of people had questions, and I wasn't sure that the proposed solution that somewhere proposing on how to activate the USB devices would work for all the devices and all setups. So that's why I wanted to test it. John, yeah, 20 gigs really helps. 20 megs, sorry, 20 gigs. Okay. Don't listen to me. It's hot. So, but why I'm saying this? We are home users, and most of the setup we do is typically you only have one Synology device. You never have 2 Synology devices, except for Johnny. I think that Johnny has multiple devices. And when you have one device, you have, for example, Dockers, you have virtual machines, you have applications installed, and it really works great. But what really opens up if you have two machines is the ability to do central management and the ability to do a cluster or have multiple virtual machines see one other. You have multiple hosts and you have multiple virtual machines running on multiple hosts, which enables you to do some kind of a fault tolerance, high availability, whatever fancy stuff IT talks about. And unfortunately, I will not be talking about that. But unfortunately, as I said, yeah, I work. That's my day job, selling those stuff. So I will not be doing. So what I did when I was finished recording videos for the Synology, I played with virtual machine, and I did manage to hook up both of my hosts, so my recording setup with my home setup. And through my home setup, I was able to manage virtual machine to control the Synology itself. And that's broken. No, it's not broken. But in order for me to have central management for the Synology, all machines inside cluster, and I have cluster of 2 machines, have to be on the same version of DSM. So before I was able to upgrade the the DSM Synology, I had to remove machines from the cluster, which usually works okay, but it can have issues. So I was really a bit scared from what side to initiate cluster host removal from the cluster. It ended up well, everything is working as it should, but now I have 2 independent machines, and this is my recording setup. Just power off, okay? And previously in the cluster I had 2 machines. I could monitor the CPU usage, I could connect to them, control them, I could move virtual machine from one cluster to the other. And to be honest, this is something that I really would like to record a couple of future videos with, if everything goes well, and I really do hope that it will go well. Maybe my cooperation with Synology will be extended to the second half of the year, and maybe I would be able to get some licenses such as Virtual Machine Manager Pro to test this, maybe some camera licenses. So I really am looking forward to extend recording of Synology videos, not just towards Home Assistant, but add some other things. Also, this machine here has nothing installed. It has only, basic stuff needed to make everything work, except Synology Chat, which is really... I don't know why I recorded it, I don't know why I installed it, but I forced all family members to use it, and nobody is using it really. I'm not using it myself, but still Home Assistant, my main setup, pushes notifications to the Synology Chat. Yeah, okay. So I would like to record videos on the where is it? Come on, type like this. Synology Drive, the new version of Synology Drive. It should be very similar to the current version, and I'm using it a lot. My private PCs have them. I was able to get permission to have it installed on my corporate PC too, so I have access there to all my documents. Each of my family members also has its own account, so we are using it. I'm using it to share data with others. I really like the drive as a private copy of Google Drive, which really it is. So this is one of the things I would like to record. Second one is new version of Photos, Synology Photos, which I am unfortunately disappointed with. I haven't installed it, but from what I read on the forums, and you can always trust Reddit because Reddit is, sorry, Johnny. That's great because I've seen even some lawsuits against them for advertising device that should be as good as medical devices, and then having very big differences in the readings. So that's good if you're as I said, I bought that gun. It's called Magnum 35. No, sorry, that thermometer gun from China for I don't know 5, 15, whatever bucks, something very cheap. And everybody here has normal temperature of 36.2. Even myself, while I normally have elevated temperature, which is really close to 37. So accuracy, there is no accuracy. So I was afraid that it would be non-accurate as that one. Back to the Synology Photos. We use it a lot. And I presume that we will be using it even more when we look at the changes to the Google Photos application and the pricing and everything. So I have here some 77.0.000 plus images from the last 10 years that we as a family did. All our mobile phones are automatically synced and back up to the photos, the old photos, not this one called Synology Photos. When Synology brought Moments, I think Moments was the application before this one, I was really looking forward because the interface was upgraded, they had some new functionality there, and it looked really awesome until I've seen that they've changed the concept of how it works. So it was changed from one big repository where you have access rights to specific folders and subfolders, and you can inherit, remember this, you can inherit the security permissions for the folders that are behind the major folders or subfolder. They change it in such a way that Moments is a personal system for collecting photos, and it creates individual albums, which can then be just a second please. Sorry, so it was changed from this big repository individual access rights to each member of the, or each user that has account on the Synology now has its own system, its own album, and he has to specifically select each image, each album, or each whatever that he wants to share. And it's completely reverse process of what I was having before. So I understand why this would be used, because Synology devices are not just used at homes, they are used at small office, home office, or small businesses. And then there, for example, you may have 20 people working and they want to keep their data private to themselves for their job, but they also want to share individual files, which is logical for the moment system. But this is completely different than what I wanted. So when they announced Synology Photos, they said that this will be a mix of both moments and photos. It is, but not completely. So for example, if I would give my daughter access to vacation folder, she would see vacation folder, but not have access to each subfolder for each vacation we had. This is something that was really easily done previously in the original Photos version. So I would give her access to vacation folder and she would have access to all the subfolders. So we now have there, for each summer vacation, we now have 10 or more folders. I have to individually go to each and every folder and give her access rights. So this is something that, in my opinion, is not good. I really do hope that this will be improved. I've read about some of the other things. For example, it's CPU hog. It's impossible to tag person on the image unless the person was previously detected by the system itself. So for example, you have photos like this one, which you see person down in the instance, the IE doesn't see it. You want to tag that person, no, you cannot tag that person. So there are a couple of things that I think still have to be improved. As you can see, the download count is really big. Already almost 300,000 people have downloaded the application. So yeah, these were some of the videos I really wanted to record. In the future, I will, most of 99.999% of all the videos I will be recording in future will definitely be in regard to home assistant or home automation or smart home. But still, I would like to do a couple of videos around new things on the Synology. Yeah, a lot of third-party applications are not available anymore, and I don't know if they will be updated. I myself do not miss Plex because I use Embi, but both Plex and Embi have released new versions for the DSM 7.0. If you are starting from the scratch if you are starting from scratch, it will be easier for you to install Plex than it is currently. And I think that, I don't know if it's been fixed in the last week or not. So the problem was that if you would be upgrading from DSM 6 to DSM 7 and then upgrading your Plex from whatever version to whatever version supports DSM 7, after the upgrade process, the system would not be available, so you had to do a couple of steps to make it available. It was nothing serious, but there were some extra steps, and those extra steps were not needed if you were doing a clean clean install. Yeah, I know. In Docker it should work okay. I'm using MB. I'm not using Docker MB version. I'm using native package version. Although there is not much difference in terms of MB working in Docker or as a package. So yeah. Also, one of the videos I would like to add more. One of the things that I would like to cover more is the overlooked functionality of the internal proxy, reverse proxy in the Synology, because I see that a lot of people are using it, but still I wouldn't go that much into technical details. I would try to cover as much things that are possible to do with the reverse proxy as possible, but I'm not sure how to record that one. But this is one of the things. I will probably do before the September. So one of the things, for example, we were talking on a Discord, and somebody was asking how to do something, and I have seen that not a lot of people were aware that you can use Synology reverse proxy not just for the Synology, but you can use it for the other devices that are on your network. So, for example, if you have a Raspberry Pi doing something, you can expose that or make that Raspberry Pi available to outside by using the domain name, then certificate that is handled by Synology, and you don't have to open any additional ports and things like that. So that's really, I think that it is overlooked on what you can do. Of course, you do have to be careful, because opening even one port, can bring trouble to your system. Grim, you're probably asking this because of the USB support. I've seen now that on the forum, just give me a second. Just a second, please. I think it's here. Somebody has posted that it's working with the Combi 2 stick and Avatex Z stick. So these two are working in the virtual machine. So yeah, I was even considering to do a list of currently supported devices that work for both virtual machine, which shouldn't be a problem. So virtual machine. Just a second, trying to keep the dog. Sorry, the dog is barking. Probably somebody's having supper, so he is begging for food. For Coral Stick, it depends if you are using it, if you are planning to use it in the virtual machine or the Docker. If you would go with the Docker, this is one of the things I was considering buying, and to play with the object detection. So this is my presumption. Sorry, I'm not 100% sure. If you would use virtual machine and have virtual machine connect to this Coral USB stick, most probably, and I'm saying most probably, it should work. I haven't tested, and I was Googling about it, I think yesterday. I couldn't find anybody currently using it. But I've seen a tweet on Twitter, and this reminded me that I was looking previously, so at that point I was checking that yesterday. For the Docker, most probably 99.9% you would not be able to run it. I could put my money even on that. So for virtual machine, yes. For the Docker, most probably no. But that's just my 2 cents or 1.5 cents. So yeah, the problem with the USBs will not be solved until the drivers themselves are released, and as far as I know, currently nobody is even working on them because the kernel was not released, or it was released but it was pulled back. So I'm not sure what's the status of this, how it's called. Let's see if no. Earlier, I think 2 weeks ago, this message was a bit longer. It said not just that Domatics will not be supported, but it says that no new drivers for any USB device will be available because I'm using Synology device this and that device doesn't support DSM 7, so something like that. So now it's new message, but still there is not anything new in regard to DSM 7. For example, my main setup, if I would run it in a Docker, it would require me to install one of the drivers here. And as I said, since the version 7.0 has different kernel, those drivers will not work on the new version of Synology DSM 7.0. I know that it's almost time to wrap up the stream because once again my throat. Just a second. I still have my Minecraft game open. Kids finish with the school, so with my youngest daughter I do 1 hour session of Minecraft a day. We have a server somewhere hosted, I don't know where. I'm not using it. I'm not having server locally anymore. So if anybody wants to join the server, just send a message on Discord. I try to. So let me check if this is more or less everything I had in mind to talk today. Yeah, funny thing is that I currently only have one order that needs to be delivered, and this is, as I mentioned previously, the components for the DIY Zigbee intercom, whatever. What's this one? No, it's not here. Okay, everything else is finished. I don't have any pending orders. I didn't order anything new because I don't know when the items will arrive, although we now have the option to pay the VAT in advance. So this is something that I'm still waiting. As you can see, a lot of more or less standard components. Resistor, 200K, 120K, 10K, and YK, 1K, 470, 200, 151, one capacitor, LED diodes, couple of connectors which are extra because yeah, I made a mistake, and I think that this is also extra. I ordered a couple more. Yeah, so these are the components I'm waiting. These are most of components that are needed for this project I mentioned previously. And why I'm mentioning this is yeah, a lot of Chinese, but not just Chinese companies try to take advantage of the small creators, and you know, they try to push, I would call it sponsorship, but free videos. For example, we will send you, you know, this battery, record video about it and keep the battery. And I was really trying to be selective of what I want to do, but there is one company that just been pushy for such a long time, and it's PCB Way. All the PCBs that I order are from JLC PCB. I order boards. I also buy some components there from them. I also did a couple of projects that were fabricated by them, meaning that the board was produced and the components were soldered to the board. So PCB Way has approached and they want to sponsor 2 videos, and that's where I really would appreciate any help. I'm looking for a good project that they can sponsor, so we can do. I had one idea. Let me show what I had in mind, which looked fun. It's easy for DIY project. Not a lot of components are used here. Here it is. This one. So the ability to have customizable Zigbee remote control. So how it works? It only has a couple of surface mounted components. So this is a battery. This one is buzzer, I think. This is the chip for the Zigbee, and whatever. So only a couple of components need to be soldered on this. And the great thing is that the PCB can be broken down. So you can have only 8 buttons or 12 buttons or 5 by 4, 20 buttons. Yeah, I can do math. So the only thing you have to do is solder more switches. And this can be either, as I said, 8 buttons, 12 buttons, or 20 button remote, which is really fun, I think, a project. And this is something that maybe if you do not have any ideas, if you do have ideas, you can post it on the Discord server. As always, it will be very, very helpful. So yeah, as I said, maybe I'll be asking them to do this project. There is also case that you can print, add buttons, blah blah blah. So it should look nice. It can be fun, to have a custom-made Zigbee remote control in each room. Depending on the size of the room and number of devices there, you can control whatever. So yeah, I think that maybe this could be fun to do project. Simple, very simple to do, and also interesting people to see and maybe have. So as I said, if you have any ideas, any suggestions for maybe some other project, please post it on the Discord server. I did post a link to Discord server somewhere here. Let's see. Yeah, Discord server. And 2 minutes. I think we will be definitely wrapping up this stream. Once again, I really want to thank Mario for his super chat and for renewing his Omega supporter subscription. Rene, thank you very much. And everybody, of course, that was here. Johnny, nice seeing you again. I don't know if this time the chat bot was, chat bot was working. I didn't see any messages being deleted or removed. And that's it for today. Thanks everybody for joining. Thank you, John. Thank you, Rene. Thank you, Grim, who was here, Bob, Mateus, Jeff the Dark, and I'll be seeing you next time. Oh yeah, as I mentioned, so probably the next stream will not be on the first week of August, as I'm on a vacation. It will be Sunday after I return of the vacation, and that Sunday is... Sunday is 21st of August. Yeah, okay. So until then, I'll be seeing you. Bye bye, and thanks everybody for joining the stream. Bye bye.